Today I'm building and testing the smallest real tanks in the world, with each one getting weirder and crazier than the last to see if tiny tanks are any good. Let's get it. Okay, to start we have to go all the way to the land of Mamma Mia, because this first tank comes straight out of Italia, and it's the L333.
Attack the D-point!
Which I built using a whole bunch of snot techniques, a bar for the gun, these beveled gears for the drive wheels, and a bunch of 1x1 studs for all the rest of the wheels. But this tank is super small at only 5 studs wide, which means it can't fit any minifigures like this Italian tanker that I built. Look at that mustache. But this tank is actually, oh shoot, I forgot the fenders. Anyway, this tank was actually used during World War II, which you can imagine it wasn't very good. Honestly, it would probably be better as a pizza delivery vehicle. And speaking of pizza, it's time to test this tank. So I quickly built this normal looking pizza oven, but if you take a pizza and put it inside, it actually reveals this black button that if you press, actually fires the pizza out of the oven. Delicious. But anyway, let's see what this pizza oven can do to the L333. Okay, honestly, I don't know what I expected to happen. I mean, it literally did nothing except for knock over the dude. But I guess that's a win for this tank. But wait a minute, this isn't actually a tank. In fact, none of these are. These are actually a class of military vehicles called tankettes, which have tank in the name, but don't think about that. They're basically just a small car with tracks and a gun. But because they're so small, fast, and light, it makes them really good for recon or infantry support. Although some are super deadly to real tanks, and I'll be building and testing those later on. But to get there, we have to build the next tank, which is the smallest tank on this list, which is the TKS tankette from Poland, which I built in this cool camo color, and also used Technic bushings for some of the wheels, and a screwdriver for the gun. But this tank was also used during World War II, and although it's super small, it was actually pretty effective against the German panzers. So much so that the Germans called this thing the cockroach. Maybe the reason why it was so effective is because there was actually a version with a 200mm main gun. Yeah, not entirely sure if this is real, but that's what YarnHub said, so we're going with it. But this tank's one purpose was to beat the Germans, so that's why I built this obstacle course that this German soldier has to complete before the tank catches him. And he has to run around these tires, cross this mud pit on top of this piece of wood, crawl underneath this net, and then climb up this rock wall with a bunch of spiky things to prevent you from going fast in order to get to the finish line. Go! Come on, put your back into it. Oh, dang. Bro was so close to the finish. Okay, honestly, that was kind of lame. But what if it gets shot by something of the same caliber? Like this Nerf gun I have. Well, I'm actually kind of surprised the TKS survived, suffering only a couple pieces being blown off and some minor structural damage. But other than that, this tank is actually pretty... Oh, the gun fell off. Anyways. But the next one might not survive, but to find out, we have to go all the way to the land of sushi to go get on this cargo ship, because inside there's a bunch of pieces that turn into the Type 94 Japanese tankette, which I built using these beveled gears. Again, I like using these. This interesting technique for the turret, and these non-Lego double clip thingies to hold on the fenders. Shh, don't tell Lego. This thing was also used during World War II, although it is only armed with literally just a machine gun. Yeah, but you might be wondering why it's on a boat right now, and that's because I'm gonna see if this thing is amphibious. Oh wow, guys, look, it's actually kinda floating. It doesn't actually want to sink. Oh shoot, the boat sank. It's gone down, it's listing really badly. At least there's a lifesaver. Oh, that was a raindrop. I think it might rain. Yep, okay, it's definitely raining. Oh shoot, this is not part of the test. I probably should get this out of the rain right now. Got it. But the tank survived, so I think it still passes. Oh wait, I wonder if I could get struck by lightning. Oh, that's probably a really bad idea. I should probably get out of here. Yeah, I don't know what I expected because this thing's not actually amphibious. Anyways, after carefully drawing all the Legos off, it was time to build the next tank. But to do that, we have to go to Germany and get on this airplane because inside are a whole bunch more pieces that turn into the Weasel 1A2 that I built using a bunch of complicated building techniques, including more beveled gears for the wheels. Yep, I really like using these for tanks. Old Speed Champions hubcaps for the rear wheels. And I used a bunch of Technic parts, including this tube for the missile launcher. This is actually the most modern tankette on this list. And instead of being equipped with a gun, it's equipped with this laser-guided TOW missile system, which makes it super deadly for any real tank on the battlefield. Because no matter how much it moves, it can still hit the target. But the actual purpose of this tankette is to be dropped from the air onto the battlefield to support the infantry. So to test that, I'm gonna drop this out of the back of the airplane.
Bruh.
And that parachute actually kind of worked. I wasn't exactly expecting that. Although the tank missed the target drop zone and kind of broke apart. Yeah, definitely don't put me in charge of air operations. But that's okay because this next tank is made for crawling in the mud through the jungle. But to see what it is, we have to go all the way back to the United States because this next one is the M50 Ontos. Okay, I know this isn't exactly a tankette, it's actually just a tank destroyer, but we're going with it anyway because it's super small. And I built it using these 2-stud wide Brickmania track links that were super expensive and cost like 30 bucks, but it needs these wide tracks to give it lots of surface area and grip in mud. But the body was super complicated because of its angled design, so I had to bend my mind to come up with these building techniques, which I mostly used hinge bricks to get the angles. It looks like just a cheese slope with some guns on it. Practically the same thing. And on top of the body, there's a turret with 6 guns. But the funniest feature of this tank is actually its name, because Ontos is literally Greek for Thang. Yep, that's right, this tank is literally just called the Thang. And this tank was actually used during the Vietnam War. But what was the Vietnam War known for? Booby traps. So I cut out this section of the Vietnamese rainforest. Oh, wait a minute. Now it's a rainforest, full of all the typical deadly animals like scorpions, spiders, and crocodiles. Not sure if crocodiles actually live in Vietnam. But the deadliest part is not the animals. It's a cleverly camouflaged booby trap. Because if you trip these leaves, it activates a massive log that will swing down and destroy anything in its path. So let's see what happens when the M50 drives into this trap. Okay, honestly, that was super lame and did absolutely nothing. Like, literally no damage. I was really hoping this would actually do something. But I guess that means this tank is safe. But actually, it's not, because I had a backup plan in case this didn't work. So I built this giant Lego ball that's very colorful to see if the M50 can survive. 3, 2, 1. I'm actually surprised the body didn't break, especially with those complicated building techniques. Not entirely sure if this counts as a pass or a fail, because the body survived, but the guns didn't. Anyways, I hope you like these tanks. Comment if you think I can invade my neighbor's house, and please subscribe, because it would mean a lot.